Well, it appears a few more merit cards have actually gone up in price. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more content. The True Sun God. Yeah, there was another Raw support card that I forgot about. Now, this is the one from the 2022 tins. It says, when this card is activated, add one the Winged Dragon Raw, a card that mentions it from your deck to your hand, except for the True Sun God monsters. Except the Winged Dragon Raw cannot attack the turn they are special summoned, and once returned during the main phase, send this card or one the Winged Dragon Raw Immortal Phoenix from your deck to the graveyard to send a Winged Dragon Raw from your monster zone to the graveyard. You can only activate one the True Sun God per turn. So basically the thing we care about here is it's a free search to get the Winged Dragon Raw or a card that mentions it. So you're basically going to need to get a couple copies of these because this will get you into the Winged Dragon of Raw searcher that sends, and then you can lose Droll and Lockbird on the resolution. A lot of Winged Dragon of Raw plugins here just to kind of make this card and deck work. Now, right now, you're looking at a little bit more than I would want to say on these, man. Actually seeing these cards be $5 to $6 a piece is quite humorous, but the truth of the reality is this is just how things kind of are right now. Especially with the Winged Dragon Raw, I've not seen people this hyped for a theme in a very long time. There's a couple of other things like Watching No Dangers of the Divine and Millennium Revelation as well. I mean, this lets you send a Divine Beast from the hand, add a Monster Reborn, and then of course you can switch to some of the Winged Dragon Raw with a Monster Reborn ignoring its summoning conditions, and then you must send the Winged Dragon Raw you control, switch some of the Monster Reborn to the graveyard. So I mean, like, it's cute. It gives you access into like Monster Reborn to try to do things a little bit better, but the True Sun God is definitely a piece of the deck that I would watch. Guardian Slime is another big one right now that has, oh god, this card is already expensive. I have a feeling this is going to get reprinted. I don't see a world where Konami wouldn't want to reprint. So that means what? If you take battle or effect damage, we can special summon this card. If it battles an opponent's monster, you make this card gain defense equal to the opponent's monster's attack. And if it's sent from the hand or field to the graveyard, add a card that specifically mentions the Winged Dragon Raw in its text, from your deck to your hand. Which, I mean, it's free recruitability. I don't hate that. But the problem is, it's a 0/0. And that means that, like, I would have to play Egyptian God Slime to make this a little bit more beneficial. It's just, there's a disconnect between this support and the former Winged Dragon or Raw support. When you're looking at, like, Guardian Slime and things like that, yeah, I do want to play these because it does mention the Winged Dragon Raw. But the problem is these are $17 to build them into my deck. And I don't think I'm going to spend that much money, but that's not stopping other people. As you can clearly see here, you've had a decent amount of copies move throughout people just wanting to spend money to pick these up. Once again, the Winged Dragon Raw, it is a fan favorite, man. And the fact that you just created the evil version of it, the one that has fallen into the dark, yeah, of course this was going to attract a lot of attention. Now, the next couple of things I have for you are things that have been popping up on best selling. I know I still have not looked at the Arc V decks. Robbie, why are you taking so long to look at the Arc? Patience. We'll talk about the Arc V decks probably tomorrow when we start looking at the YCS fallout from the weekend, because you'll have 2 days of YCS processing to kind of see where it's going to go. But Metal Flame Swordsman here, 2025, absolutely peak card. 83 listings, it's 25 cents. Well, why suddenly now? Well, if you just kind of take a look at the sheer amount of these that have been kind of rotating off of the market, somebody bought 20 down here. Somebody bought 126, 54, and 437, and then 60 copies. I don't have an answer for you as to why particularly this version is going up. Maybe it's because, it's got to do with Max Metalmorph applications. It's one of the more interesting cards that you can kind of rotate through with the Metalmorph stuff. I mean, it has its application, but like, God, man, that's a lot of money to be, it's a lot of copies rotating through the secondary market for a card that is like lower than normal. Mortalux Haruver, the picker-upper vacuum cleaner. That's always what I always thought of this card. This is the rank 8 TCG exclusive that we got, who also has found himself on best-selling here. To be fair, I mean, like, these are 8 cents, 13 cents. I think a lot of people are just going to pick these up in, like, critically large volumes just to be able to have them. But I assume that this has been the case with this. For this to pop up on best-selling, you know, you've got to see a decent amount of copies. I'm seeing, I mean, nothing crazy. Oh, somebody bought 210. My apologies. All right. Somebody felt the need that they needed to pick up 210 copies of this card at 19 cents a piece. I mean, to be fair, they did technically double their money at 40 cents a copy, I guess. Interesting. The Abyss Dragon Sword Soul. You know, this is one of those funny cards that technically, supposed to, if a monster is banished by a card effect, we can search some of this card from the graveyard if it was there when the monster was banished, or hand, even if not, but banish it when it leaves the field. On top of some, target one card in the field zone and one monster your opponent controls or in the graveyard and banish them. Is this supposed to be like a tune card to try to slow down the deck? It was a card that was talked about in the very early inception, but as you can see, I mean, like, you've gained a little bit of traction here. In terms of copies, I mean, 12, 12, 7. Some larger normal versions of these have been moving over the last couple of weeks, but these are just the people coming through doing the heavy-handed buyouts, wanting to make sure that, you know, hey, these are moving a little bit, you know, they're doing decently well. So I don't know how many of these random buyouts we're going to have, but there's a lot of them. Oh, Night Assailant, dual terminal versions from Hidden Arsenal Chapter 1. Now, I do want to remind you that Hidden Arsenal Chapter 1 there is no Chapter 2. This set was so poorly received by the community. We tried to tell Konami that, you know, we would like a dual terminal set, but, like, you got to put new cards in here. You know, you can't just do this, you know, oh, we'll reprint the dual terminal stuff. That'll be great. No, it was a piss poor application on their, you know, behalf. But it also has sparked up some interesting ideas here of, you know, some of these older cards that, you know, people wanted reprints of. They've been sparking up and actually getting bought out. I mean, 18 to 20 copies at 39 cents a piece. I mean, that's not a terrible conversion pickup of all things considered, just to want to have. So that's pretty interesting, all things considered. I do like the idea of being able to pick those up. Darkness Resonator. Really? This is a super rare from Blazing Dominion. This is one of the newer cards. I see this card spiked up to $1 and then has gone down again, but do we have like a large number of copies, or is this just because of Genesis format with 43, 63? Those were about a week ago. Somebody was coming through picking these up. Okay, so it looks like we did have some abnormally large copies swinging through the back end here as people were trying to pick them up. Once again, I'm not surprised. Genesis format and so forth have been some pretty big bangers for people wanting to pick these things up. Dupe Frog, older format applications. This one's a pretty big one. Dupe Frog needed a reprint. God, his super rares were like $40 to $50. And they were ridiculous. Now that the reprints have hit, they're 25 cents a piece, which is, you know, not on the older card frame, but you can see somebody just picked up 60 copies at 40 cents a piece, 10 copies, 12 copies, 24. You know, these are moving at actual real numbers. So pretty interesting just to see, you know, how many people are willing to pick up, you know, older format application style things, because whether or not you personally are like, oh, you know, these are good. Look at how, you know, Substitoad's reprint went. You know, that card shot up to some of the craziest numbers I feel like I have seen in, you know, this game, and people are standing by it. It's doing wonderfully. Now, this weekend, Sleeve Chief is going to be having the brand new Blossom bundles for you guys. They're going to have the Night Blossom and then the more normal version of the Blossoms that most people are really used to seeing. Now, I do think Night Blossom is probably going to be a slightly more popular product because this looks absolutely gorgeous. I love the fact that, you know, they're going to be working with this again. And discount code MCO40 will actually save you on your purchase on anything that you're going to be wanting to pick up over here. So what do you guys think about everything? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here in day, guys. Patrons! Thank you! Ah!
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.